Thanks for joining us, Todd. So my first question is, what do you consider dance?
Dance is movement, I guess. Dance is anything. Dance can be anything. It could be me waking up in the morning to washing the dishes to walking to the subway, sitting on the subway. My interactions with people is dance. The way that I speak, the way I use my eyes, everything.
So how do you consider walking to the subway or washing the dishes dance? Most people think dance is what you would do on a stage.
It's physical movement. It's movement that is done with the body. It is a form of expression in a way. We all walk in a certain way to sort of express our feelings, our emotions for that day, whether it's conscious or I don't think I chose dance. I think dance chose me. I think it was inherited. I think it's a passion that grew from a very early age, from 2 years old watching Sesame Street to my grandmother putting on a Hawaiian record and me improvising in the living room to it, to taking class. I just think it was a natural way of moving through life for me. It was never a question. It was not a choice or anything like that.
So you were doing the hula at 2?
I was doing the hula at 3 in Hawaii.
What can a program like the TBD Salon do to affect your development as an artist or as a dancer? And do you see this having an effect on the community, the dance community, the arts community, the community at large?
I think the TBD Salon is an experiment. First, an experiment for me. It's about bringing an older generation and a newer generation of dancers together to sort of share ideas, not only within the insular group of that similar background of a company, but also to share those ideas with an audience. And that's an experiment, and that's something that it might work, it might not work. I think it benefits the artist because you're getting feedback, whether it's through a conscious level of communicating with each artist or through just watching and being there and being in the room with them. You still also get a lot of information and learn a lot about process and how they've developed and how they've learned and where they're going and what excites them and what doesn't excite them and what's creative and what's not, where they find their creative motivation and what doesn't creatively motivate them. So I think that's really positive. And with that, the salon is with the idea, the salon is also trying to move forward with improvisation. And I think improvisation is one of those places where you can really find motivation of creativity and expression, which can not only be like physicalized in the present moment, as we'll do in the last piece of the salon, but it also helps develop you as an artist and understand what is you, or what are you, and how do you relate to your dance, and what makes your dance, and how do you inspire, and how does that inspire you to keep creating? What I'm bringing to the salon is my energy, my organization, my vitality, and I want to. Hopefully, I'm showing that I can inspire and make dance accessible, not only for a place accessible for artists, but also for audiences to come and to enjoy and to explore and to experiment with an art form that is social.
Well, in terms of the movement that you do, what or who actually inspires and influences you as a choreographer?
God, that's a really good question. Who inspires me? The people who inspire me at the moment, I mean, obviously I'm still inspired with Trisha Brown, who I currently work for. Constantly, every day, she challenges me in conversation or in movement or in dance. What also is inspiring me at the moment are my niece and nephew.
What about your niece and nephew did inspire you in terms of the arts or choreography or dance?
I think what inspires me about them is that their inhibition, their experimentalism, their willingness to try, they're just going for it. They just go for it. And they just do it. And it's just an amazing experience to watch someone to develop their kinetic awareness and the way that they move and the way that they're coming into their bodies and how their personalities and how their humanness and being come out through their development, through walking, through movement to the music.
Well, tell me, how do you transition from dancer to choreographer and then actually back again in order to dance in your own piece? Is it difficult to go from dancer to choreographer back to dancer, or is it a natural transition?
Well, the way that we're working with this piece, or the piece that I'm performing in the TBD Salon, is actually it's a collaboration. It's actually choreographed by Rin, and I'm helping collaborate with her. So a lot of the movement is generated actually very at the same time. We both work very well together in that sense. It's a play off of each other.
And who is Rin?
Erin Holtman is currently, right now, she's the rehearsal director for Trisha Brown Dance Company, but she's also been an amazing choreographer, and I worked with her about almost 12 years ago now, and when she had her own company and she was working. And so I've asked her to help or to work with me again in the salon. So Erin and I basically like to work in the moment. So we come into the studio, we might be improvising together for a little while, we turn the music on, we improvise with the material, with the movement, and see what's coming out of our bodies today. And depending on our moods, depending on our emotions that day, whatever is sort of coming up presently out of our bodies is what sort of we're working with and dealing with. And we kind of build on that. So there might be like a theme or a quality of movement or a theme or a gesture that is interesting to us, and we sort of try to develop that and move it through the space and try to relate it to the music.
So if you work with what's coming out of you that day, what happens when you come back, say, 3 days later? Do you go back to what you've already done and keep building, or how do you maintain what you've created but keep moving forward?
What we do generally is we'll come back the next day after we've created one day or for a few hours, review that material and see where we are with that today. And we'll look at it and be like, oh my God, that was really great, let's maintain that, let's keep this. Or we generally go, or another way of looking at it, not generally looking at it, but or the other opposite way of moving through it is basically going like, oh, that didn't work. That wasn't what we were trying to do, and so we kind of scrap it and start again, or restart, or sort of manipulate it to make it work for what we're feeling for that day. And it's just a development. It's a process, and each day you come in with different feelings, different ways of looking at it, and hopefully the end result is this piece that we create.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today on Inside the Dance.